Museum of Sport. And I'll be coordinating this session today, and I will give a brief presentation of the project, My Sport and Heritage. At the beginning, just some technical points. So as you might have seen that this session is recorded. So if you don't want to appear in the recording, you're welcome to turn off your camera if you feel not comfortable with it. And if you have any questions, you can raise your hand. There is a bar below in Zoom, so you can raise your hand or you can write in the chat if you have any questions. And I'll be monitoring the chat throughout the session and we'll make sure that all the questions are addressed during the Q&A session. Is it clear? Do you have any questions? Okay, I'll take it as a yes. So we'll start with the presentation of the project. I'll share my screen with you, just a moment. Okay. Okay, I hope you see my screen. So today we are having a very interesting topic about My Sport and Heritage, the project that aims to contribute and to identify, preserve, and promote European sport and heritage. And this heritage is often underestimated and underrepresented and insufficiently highlighted. Many experts in the field of sport and culture, they agree that Europe and European Union has such a sport and heritage, but unfortunately it remains largely unknown to the general public. So to solve this problem, the project seeks to address the lack of visibility. It also aims to fill the gap in educational tools that explore European sport and culture through the lens of heritage. And this is especially true for young people. So in doing so, the project aims to strengthen the sense of belonging to the European Union and to Europe in general. It focuses on heritage, physical activity, and the shared values of sport. As for the partnership, the project relies on scientific expertise of the University of Amsterdam. It also involves the European Cultural Route of Sport Association and the think tank Sport and Citoyenneté. The educational and the digital expertise of National Museum of Sport, along with the organizations Michael Culture and Radiona, is also central to our project. The organization that is coordinating the overall project is the National Sport Museum. And this is the program Erasmus Sport that is funded by European Union. So let's talk about the expected outcomes of the project. So first of all, that's a workshop with European researchers specializing in sports heritage. This training has gathered experts on the history of the sport, taking into perspective philosophical and social aspect of sport and its valuable heritage. So then goes a public webinar on European sport and heritage. And this represents the results of the initial phase of the My Sport and Heritage research project. Then goes a public report on best practices in the field. That is a document that covers 15 examples of practices in regards to collecting the sport heritage in European geographic spectrum. So another very important result is a special edition of the Sport and Citoyenneté magazine, which is dedicated to European sport and heritage, which means that My Sport and Heritage project is covered in the latest edition of this magazine as a thematic topic of the 95th edition. So then we have a virtual exhibition showcasing some collections of European sport heritage. The exhibition will include experts, articles, a map, and a timeline. This is like a step into a digital journey across Europe's sport and past, which explores stories and different images that bring to life the events, the places, the people who shared the history of sport, from, let's say, ancient roots to modern challenges. Then goes an educational webinar to present the teaching tools developed within the project. And then one of the most important parts of our project is two educational games for children aged from 11 to 15. This is an escape game and a geocaching activity. So we have created a board escape game and geocaching game that are the topic of sport heritage for children and for youth, and they're both playable in intergenerational wider audiences. And for some last expected outcomes of the project, so here goes a workshop with young people in France, Croatia, and the Netherlands, and the final event in Croatia, in Zagreb, and finally the project report. So now we will move on to the main part of our project, and it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Mrs. Deborah, who will closely speak about the two games. So she will introduce herself, and I pass the floor to Deborah.
Hello, thank you very much, Rima, and thank you everyone for coming to the workshop. Let me just start sharing my screen. My screen, not my screen. So what we will talk about, I'm super happy with all of the participants and in our workshop. I will slide in between my presentation and also everything that I opened in the web browser, and with, of course, an aim to be more interactive. As Rima explained already, what was the main aim and the goal, what we are developing within the project of this very diverse group that is covering all of the aspects that we needed, that we have academia that gave the context of the sporting heritage. We have citizens involved, organizations that are involved with the roots, with citizens, something that we need when we work on a certain projects, that we need a bottom up in the sense of approachability to the audiences, but not also the audiences, local communities, actually citizens. Yeah, this is what is supposed to be. It's for the citizens. And of course, the colleagues and all of us who are working with in a diverse ways in educational, non-formal setting, that is always very challenging and interesting, not just within Erasmus Plus, but the activities that we usually do. So within this project, we had really the bar was high, was really high in the sense of that we are actually developing within the project two games. So one of the game is the escape game, which the coordinator of the project, the French National Sport Museum, wanted to have like a high standard of the game, which is based on a similar that the France has this in the gaming industry, the strong position in the gaming industry, and that's Unlock series. So we were looking at this. And at the other hand, we were also looking on the different ways how the community online teachers and educators are actually developing the escape games. So I will start with the presentation now. We created the Rift. This is an escape card game, and the Sport Heritage Trail, which is a geocache game. So it's supposed to work on the learning through play, through movement, teamwork, and of course the sporting heritage. Games actually that will in a certain way transform the heritage within sport in an active learning. So we had this, not just the active learning, but also with an aim that we also teach children that they move more. But at the other hand, we are completely surrounded by digital cultures, and it's a part of everyday life. And now we are addressing, for sure, for a little several generations to the digital natives. So of course, we need to then be aligned to this and having also an aspect that is been digital, that is fun to them. And it's in today's time when the attention span is a bit lower, when there is so much content, it was really a very nice way how we are going to actually go into this direction without again sending youth and children into the position of the sitting in front of the computer, but actually to go and explore a little bit the surrounding, the history, how to work together, about the movement, the motorics, and also the problem solving. So this is about the sporting heritage is just not something that they experience, but they explore. They are not passive into that, but also active. Of course, the sporting heritage is super interesting topic for us grown-up people. But how do we relate, and how do we try to make this was the thing that we were thinking a lot during developing these games? How are we gonna address this thing? Of course, they want to hear about Ronaldo. They want to address the people, the athletes who are around them. So how are we gonna do it in a way that is also like interdisciplinary, that invites intergenerational learning, that could be also like applicable working with in a different setting, in a formal setting, in a school, in a setting that doesn't have accessibility to super expensive things, because we also didn't want to think about that as a tool that has been, or something that has been bored, that make them boring, and also like something that has been super expensive, or has or they need a super modern mobile phone or something, because that's not about that. It's something that every teacher, every librarian, every curator, every pedagogist can do with something that with the resources that they have. Of course, it was something that when we started, we were thinking a lot about the mechanics of how the architecture of the escape games have been done. And through previous research on this, and also like going into the processes of different way how the community, especially teachers, are building online, we were completely impressed. I have to say that in the first this draft, my colleague Damir Prizmic, designer from Radiona, and myself, we were just like thinking, these people are doing amazing stuff with minimal resources. Yeah. So how to use this imagination, how to use activity into this. And we started developing in this service, starting doing this sport, designing a task, and we went into the mechanics of the games, into escape games. So what we designed here for the project was that players work together using a deck of illustrated cards. They solve riddles, connect clues, make decisions as a team, and each solution brings them closer to completing the mission and escaping. The games are. I will start now with the escape game. It's a set of cards that we design. They are online accessible if you go into My Sporting Heritage website, and it's very interesting. If you go, feel free to go now if you want. At My Sporting Heritage, you will see that we have here in the pedagogical tools the setup that shows you details about the cards. Even we plan to update this. Downloadable printable cards in English. We have newly now the French printable card templates which are empty, and an open web application which I didn't open now because it has sound, but it's something that we want to do with this game is that if you are going to try to try to this game, you can send this into the print shop and make your deck of the card. It's completely prepared online so that you can start actually after printing it playing with this. Now let me just get back now to the my presentation. So this is how the game is actually functioning. Every escape game has a level. And this was the story that the coordinator of the project, Laureen, said that let's start doing escape game where we have a rift of time that is opening. And of course, as is always with escape games, if something catastrophic is happening. And this was an interesting thing to use, how we use athletes and sports from the history or objects from the sport history and sport heritage to put them in a card based game. So this is the story that how it starts. The rift has opened. It's causing a string of catastrophic events. And it's not just influencing our lives, but also we have to rediscover again the sporting heritage because because of this rift, the history and the everything is starting to be erased. So the history is erased. We will lose the next European Championships, everything. So the kids are invited to actually save the championships, save the history, have this like, okay, this is they are not in a sense of fighting for something, but they are actually saving it. So you got, as is usually with the card, you are getting the first, it's a zero card, it's a start here, the first in the deck. And then you have very simply in the card, you have a QR code that points you to the application that is online. If you open it up on your computers, you can see how it's been made. You have here actually a counter because with these games it's always about the counter, and with the certain levels in 45 minutes you have to solve the riddles, you have to save yourself, you have to escape the problem in this situation, like erasing the whole history of the sport and everything what comes with it. So you go, but you have always with these cards, there are all escape games have a very complex system of the cards, and we tried to make it in a sense of intuitive because we were very aware that it's a different setup for teachers, for museums, for any kind of things, or what people play at home, what families play at home. So this is why we follow this way of creating a game. So you basically have on a card which card you have to take, application to open, solve the puzzle, collect the tokens, save sport, save history. It's very simple, plain, direct. At least at the beginning, because later, as with every escape game, it gets complex. Yeah. So you have an application here on my right side where you can request hint. And you get, of course, the card. When you take 11, 37, and 4, you are actually getting your first, first problem that you have to solve. Wait a second. I lost my, wait a second. I lost my presentation here. Games presentation. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not that it's me that has been lost here. Okay, so this is where I was standing. I apologize. I'm not, I totally forgot this. It was a long time when COVID was the topic, so I'm on the Zoom now. So I apologize. So this is the lineup of every game that you get here, the country, and you get the clues. The cards that are here, 37, 4. And then, of course, you have here request hint. Hints are into the app in this way, and also you can get it as a card. It's very divided by colors. and you get a hint in the sense of the children can and youth can make associations why something happens. And then when they put the hint, which is one of the number here into the request hint, they got association. And you can try it you can try it, for instance, if you are now on the app, if it's open, you can put one of the numbers 1137 on 4. If the number, the card 58 will not be working, if they will not get this association. At the beginning, we thought as a grown-up people that this is going to be super easy, that kind of who is not going to know that this is probably Netherlands, yeah? But it was a bit when we tested it with the youth, and some of them were completely like, but why not? Maybe this is Belgium, this could be different. This was interesting feedback that we got. And it's very individual, yeah. So in this sense, then we put this hint and we try to go along the line so that it's understandable for this age, which is also very challenging because 11 to 15 is a very diverse. You have still 11 and 12, which are still kids, and then you have a youth that has been more into the being teenagers, rolling with the eyes, and you know how you have to be very cool. But this is the first level of the game. So I have a lot of digressions as someone who is doing pedagogy too. And when they sort out this after the hint and enter this code, they actually get the digital card, which is the same as this token. They are collecting the tokens, and at the end of the game, they have 12 countries, or in some iteration 10 or 11. They collect after each they collect the tokens, and they go to the end of the game. So what was when they collect this token, is they go with they go on the other side of the token, which is an athlete. They got a story about this athlete, which is sometimes not connected with the story. They get two stories within one layer, within on one level, and then they got instruction to take another card, and they go to another level. Let me show you this. It's like this. You see, this is basically how it's been done. In the sense of that here you have different levels of countries that we have collected. Let me show you online. So I'm very aware that the time is going on. Just a second. Wait a second. So you go into the tokens here. You get at the end of the game sporting is because it's a long project name, my sporting heritage. We wanted to include also into the game a reference what is this all about. And also the card, of course, and the other side had a story, and it's been connected with the person, the token that they are getting as a reward. And as they go, they have different challenges, and they go through different countries and try to make these challenges. What we wanted to do also with this game was interdisciplinarity. You know, a long time ago, more than, or maybe about 100 years ago, also there were some forms that were also part of the Olympics. So we wanted to add also this arts and humanities aspect, and maybe this as something that we do intergenerational learning about the things. As you can see, we in this English version, we also put a Leonard Cohen into that. We were very aware that we need to give instructions also to teachers how, or to museum pedagogists, how they can integrate something from their grandfathers or mothers or fathers, some kind of knowledge. Here we are using the song of Leonard Cohen, you know, which has a name to point to one of the Paralympics athletes. The game was in that sense developed. And wait a second, I want to say so much in such a short time. Uh, so what we want to do with these learning outcomes of the game. First of all, it's a gameplay. They develop a range of knowledge, skills, and attitudes. They strengthen teamwork, communication. It's kind of a collaborative problem solving while listening and learning, sharing ideas. The game is not like the way how maybe we are now going very super fast through the game. We have a guide how to relax them, how to talk about them. It's also and how also to relate what if they don't manage to solve something, because that's not the end of the world. It's not the ABBA song, the winner takes it all. It's not about that. It's about going to one of first the process of socialization, the process of critical thinking, observation, learning something, connecting clues. It's different sources. Yeah, they discover stories, symbols, athletes, and you will see as we go through the game. It's a very interesting way how we use actually association objects that they can associate with a certain year. It's also how they perceive visual things in their life. And also at the underlying is helping them to understand sport as a part of the really wider cultural history. I think like the same as with the science, sport is also a part, there is a cultural history of it. The cultural implications, it's not just entertaining things, yeah? It's a fact because the history of sport also like is full of amazing individuals. It's full of amazing stories, and it's also like something. It's not just about role models. Even the youth and kids are searching for role models. But maybe we should go above this to teach them something about people who were working, who were previous decades were also very cool. Maybe they were not influencers, yeah, but it's a different way how we perceive things. The second game, because I want to leave you also some time for question and answers, and so for much broader explanations, is a sport heritage trail that we were also. This was kind of juxtaposed, let's say, to the first game, because the first game, I understand you will need some time to adapt. It's easy for me now to say after I was going through all of the processes, but also like when I met with some of the content I was in regards to the game mechanics, I was also like thinking, oh my God, it's going to take me so long, but it's not. This is why we have tried to create everything so hands-on, that you print, that you read a description, and that you follow the line and understand. And those of you who will be interested in that, you can also send us a request, and we will send you everything, even with the hints and everything, but it's not to be shareable, because otherwise, if we will be putting everything online, the kids can very easily search it, and it's not about that. It really and escape games, especially those from Unlock series, they are not very easy. Yeah, and we had a lot of these kind of thinking, like, is it so hard? Is it not? You're all the time in these areas. Yeah, this is why preparation matters, of course, and this is why we want to prepare as much as we can for you, so that those who will facilitate or they're interested in integrating this will not be stressed out. So let's go, because I'm all the time in digressions. I'm sorry. So the Heritage Trails was for us this geocache game. It was a little bit different. We understood that the previous game will ask some kind of resources, and we wanted to make it let's differently. Okay, we have digital aspect, but isn't the geocache about going outside? Is it, if we talk about sport, if we talk, let's get them move, let's get them out, let's get them into this activity. Yeah, so it's an outdoor learning that combines this movement, discovery, and cultural heritage, but it's also by its preparation. And what we have here, it's extremely humble. Yeah, it's thinking about the teacher or the facilitator from the, I don't know, in a suburbia or in some city or in a village that maybe don't have resources. So how to do something very simple with papers, with imagination, and how to motivate them to do something along this line. Not thinking that you need to have expensive card deck or expensive things, but you can do maybe something with the paper and just moving around and enjoying the also like the riddle solution finding. Yeah, so participants here follow clues, but they have the teachers will be getting the papers and they with the messages, and also it's an application. If you are on the website pedagogical tools, then you can check that there is also a similar that you are in this game, you are getting a medals, you're getting a digital medals. Yeah, and it's connected with the geocache, and with the stories that are from the virtual gallery that I will send when I will wrap it up. That I will tell you when I am going to wrap it up. So the kids are actually having papers which are hidden. It's a very very like a Japanese minimalism geocache that you put, the teacher can put, or a museum setup. We were thinking about, okay, teacher can go in the backyard if it's possible. Museum have the space in a museum, but maybe they don't have a backyard. So how we are going to interconnect this? Because geocache is different. You can have it digitally on a map. You can have the objects that are also then shared in the map. But how to do it for a teacher that it's not a project that they need to spend like weeks about, that is very hands-on and that uses the infrastructure that we have actually built within this project, and that's the website, the virtual gallery for the content, and also like this digital aspect, which is the counter, the web app, which could be opened. I forgot to mention this. The web app that has been on the website is actually not something that you have to download on your mobile phone, because we were super aware that it doesn't, for the longevity of a project which is partly digital, it means that if you do a couple of iteration of a software on your mobile phone and the app won't be working anymore. So it's like, facing reality that we usually do with as we work as technologists, and then we want to have something that is going to be online, that the kid or a younger person can approach also from a mobile phone that is not super advanced. Yeah, that has a browser, that has it's manageable really within relatively now 5, 6, or 7 old mobile phones. So it's not about creating high tech that is super cool, and then in a year, I got an email, nothing is working. Unfortunately, we would like to do it, but nothing is working. That was not the idea. So the idea was really how to combine these things. So you see that what we want to say, if there is a line of a text, and also if you check on the website, you can see that it's prepared for printing, the text for teachers, and all of these are actually like caches that they can hide somewhere in a school, in the backyard, and also with the QR code there. If they only print on a printer, they're going to find the geocache, and when they find, they have to think what they will do with it. They have an app and they have a text. Of course, we cannot ask the children, to think about this riddle, especially when they are outside, when they are physical. They are not so much into now intellectual activity, into brainstorming. They are more scattered all around. They want to go around. If you know the psychology of youth and kids, you know that. So then we said, like, let's put a nice nice text about sport, underlying one word, and if they have to figure it out, of course they will figure it out, because here in geocache it's about finding in the space. This is up to the teachers and museum educators or whoever wants in the nature, if you have children at home, to hide somewhere these things. And as they find it, the geocache, they put the word that is underlined in the app, and they got a medal. But the medal shows in the app in the way if you are trying to do this, you can do it. It's then you will get also on the other side of the medal the story of this either event, either let's say archaeological site, the story, and they have to collect a couple of the all of these medals, you know, to end the game, to find it. You see, it's like you have this, you can do it in a very modest way on the paper, print it on a paper in different colors, or you can make it very plain and use the application which is accessible, and it's about you to hide it very good. So, what will players learn? Of course, about the physical activity of movement, orientation, observation, because you can upgrade this game. You can do it in the classical way of geocache with the boxes, with a different tool. We just wanted to get them to the content, which is also digital, where they will get the story. Yeah. It's about teamwork, it's about curiosity and connection to local and European heritage, because this is a project about. I think within the consortium of this project, we are all aware there are colleagues here which are from different parts of the globe, which is which is great to see. But this is very adaptable, and this is something that they can use also as a model. And we've been thinking we have to, as a consortium, also see we can probably share on the GitHub the code for this, so it could be adaptable also in your countries. So what is why it matters? Why the trails are connected with these real places and active experiences? Because the young people do not only hear about history, they walk through it, search for it, and they discover it themselves. It's also like up to the thinking about how to readapt these things, how how you can use it as a way of complementary ways of learning, you know, because the Rift as an escape game develops collaboration, it's a problem solving, it's a discussion, it's but it's also like 45 minutes, you have 45 minutes to finish it. But the sport heritage trail is about the learning with movement, with exploration, going to the places, real places, you know. But it's of course all rooted in the sporting heritage, European sporting heritage. So both tools are offering the method, you know, that can inspire. It's not something that is finished, you know, and it's not to be touched. It's okay to deconstruct, yeah, so that the cultural organizations, sport organizations, or museums, I think the more target is probably for, let's say, beside the museums and schools, for also like a non-typical organizations to use this content. The localization is and flexible use is pretty much very important, because they can be adapted, you know, with languages and learning context, and because the core version are gameplay and shared structure. We simply translated something from a complex games into something that is understandable in the sporting heritage and the cultural setup. But the localized versions, like we have on the website, you already noticed, those who are browsing at the same time, we have now the French version, and also like I think I saw colleague Nikolai from the Sport Museum. It's a different how associations and the context is functioning in different countries, in different languages. You know, there are countries who are actually, maybe the kids, because of the popular culture, are more into like the English version. It's about also maybe it's more connected with this, the hip hop culture and the sport and the modern athletes. And then it's very important to know your context, because not everything is applicable, you know, universally. Yeah, you have to have this understanding, having the broader image. This is about these games, is that you can adapt them to local heritage, also to your curriculum themes, to your community knowledge, because you are really invited to adapt, to rethink So it is suitable for schools, it is suitable for, mini workshops like the outdoors festivals and also like intercultural programs, yeah, because you are also they're adaptable in the sense that you can work with inclusion. We were thinking a lot within this project also about there were when we were working, there was a lot of about the Paralympics. So how to also include this. This is a relatively new history, yeah, the new history in the when we talk about sport heritage. And so yeah, that's kind of engaging. And I, I I'm sorry if you got an impression that I'm teaching, but it's not. It's just I'm trying to explain. Even I would like to have actually more session that we play together, because for us it's not an easy in the first round. It's not like, I think the geocache game is super on a first. With the escape game, it's you have to a little bit delve into the content, into understanding, and we are super happy to help any of you who is willing to jump into this area, because it's a super interesting story. Yeah, so this is pretty much my message. Before we start question, I left. We have a lot enough time to discuss about this, and also about the my sporting heritage in general. For your questions. So this is the message. It's just like, let's do it. Let's start lifting these weights. Because it's something that I think it's very interesting to get into sport heritage. It's very interesting to interconnect as them athletes. The youth can more identify with also individualities, but also we see the importance of taking care about the archaeological sites, about the heritage, about the story. Also, it could be maybe combined with activities, especially the geocache, with the walks that people have through the city, learning about the local sport hero that maybe is not in encyclopedia, but is someone that has been locally, that people know that. I think this is the value of it, that we see global people, global stars, but we also go to the individuals from our neighborhood who can influence probably more than someone from the internet or television. So yeah, that will be the end of my presentation, but I'm super welcome to answer all the questions. I assume there are maybe some question points about the games or how to implement. So yeah, and I'm super happy to see another Deborah. I met only 3 Deborahs in my life, so I'm super happy to see another one in this session. Thank you very much. Okay, let me stop sharing. So I don't have anything embarrassing on my screen, but yeah, okay. Uh, Let me see. Okay. Are we all shy here, or does anyone wants to ask something or comment something or share any of your experiences that you have? Or maybe you've been thinking about something, because it's also like people sometimes, yeah, we want to do this. And then when they start exploring these areas, then, oh my God, it's so much work, and it's much easier if it takes. So it's a natural reaction. And I think it's good that people talk about that. Yeah. So it's not about just, oh, super, we did something that maybe on the website it's looking very shiny and professional, things like that. It's about really talking about, okay, my experiences with youth or kids are like this, and the other side, maybe this for me won't work because we need that. It's okay, we discuss about that. This is like the silence of the lambs.
We have a message in the chat, and I
Yeah.
think it goes to your part, Deborah. Some comment on
Uh-huh.
the games, if you could read
And
it.
your hair around is missing. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's about playing. We did some piloting with the kids in our environment. It's a different. At one point at the beginning, we were a little bit demotivated, I have to say. Not demotivated for starting, but it was like, oh, who can, because you want to please everyone, especially when designing program, because it should be fun. It should have it should be in a way not just it has to have a meaning and integrity. Yeah, you cannot put inside something, or it's just like there is this beauty, that's something that is, when you we were thinking a lot about how to maybe interact it with this, with the sticker culture that youth have, and the children with this panini thing, and how they and but then at the other hand we said, like, there is so much content. And I want to actually emphasize here something that is not just a presentation, but I can say it, or maybe my colleague, about a virtual gallery. What we made within these games is that, as the our partners in the project, the University of Amsterdam has gathered on the first training of the project that Rima was mentioning at the beginning. We had a very good, we got from the scientists in a sport, in history and sports, yeah, in sports management, but primarily historians talking about local sports, sports from the diverse version sports, yeah, national small sports, or and it's interesting. And then this was the foundation, the articles that historians and scientists actually wrote about the history of the sports and the sites, because I'm talking a lot about the individuals, but we should be talking more also about the stadiums, association that we had through the history, or also like political aspects that were historical, political, the changes in the society, the wars, and the dysfunctional societies are different, especially in Europe, the East Europe, the Eastern Bloc, and the West, which is different, which a different way, the different stories were to tell, in such a way. But when you scratch under the surface, then you see it's not maybe so much different, it's just the nuances. But then our colleagues from microculture made a virtual gallery that you can see also the website if you go, and I hope it's open in your window. And when you go in the virtual gallery, you can see everything that the consortium and what the stories that were gathered within the project. And we use this material to put it in the game. That was the idea. Not just in it wasn't it was just that it's such a great knowledge, but it takes some time, and we are aware that the youth are certainly not so much browsing into this. So for this reason, we actually made this guide, for the teachers and educators, that they start maybe learning, going through this content, on in school, in classes, taking one of the topics, and pointing also to the youth, hey, you can find, maybe for your seminar or something, you can find this content in the virtual gallery, which is the chronologically, which is very, very good covered. I don't know if PJ, if you want to say something, this is a great opportunity.
Thank you, Deborah. But you already introduced the sense that all the different activities that were run in the project are mutually connected. So there is a fil rouge interconnecting the virtual exhibition and the storytelling that comes from the storytelling that was initiated in the first webinar, and then all these results has been finalized with the geocaching, with the games that you have created. Of course, we are almost at the end, but there is still probably the most important part, where all these kind of tools will be presented all together in Zagreb at the end of the project on the 12th of September. So of course, everybody is welcome to join the group, and of course it will be a great opportunity not only to present our activities, but also to listen to from the people that has been working in something similar in order really to create a community that is interesting in continuing what has been started with the project. I would not say anything else.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes, someone, Fotis Vlachos, you want to say something?
Yes, Deborah. Good morning, good afternoon from my side, actually. My name is Fotis Vlachos. I'm so happy and delighted to be in this meeting and this webinar, actually. Just to introduce myself, that I'm serving as public officer in the Hellenic Ministry of Culture, in the Directorate of International Relations in the European Union. But why I find very interesting my participation is that we are mandated for the cultural roots of the Council of Europe program. So probably people here know that you are very much connected with one initiative to develop a cultural route for the Olympic Games and the Olympics and the athletics. So I was very impressed to notice the link between actually all these initiatives in the past with a very nice all the games that you presented. That actually is the spirit of youth. And this is extremely important because in all the levels, in our political levels and all the policy making today, we are trying to involve youth as much as possible. And we are trying to find a way how to, which is very difficult actually, to include the youth not only as participatory bodies, but also in the decision-making process. I think that this kind of initiatives that you present today are very important, that we can find a way how this kind of activities and this kind of projects could be included not only within in initiatives like the cultural roots of the Council of Europe, for example, if ECROS, a correct me for this, develops this culture within Europe, and we are very much interested as Greece to participate in many levels in this. You understand that there is a huge history, there are a rich heritage in Greece in all the Olympic Games and athletics. So participating on this is also a very interesting phenomenon now to see this kind of initiatives that are innovative initiatives. You make a very good link between digitalization, youth spirit, and you have already developed games that is something that we would like to see in the future in a physical way. And this is very important, that we can find a way how to, if you can find a way also how to do these activities, the project activities of the cultural roots and this kind of stuff. It's my pleasure to be in this meeting, this webinar, and thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be in contact. Of course, we are open for cooperation, partnerships, and so just have the link with us, and we can continue to assess any possible cooperation participation. Thank you so much for this initiative.
Thank you very much. You had a little bit with connection, but I understood you very well. I think it's the interesting, actually, the living play is something that it's very important, and it's the way how we communicate this heritage, and this is I think crucial for the new generation. It doesn't mean that we have to lower the bar, that we have to readapt everything to all of the social media aspects that it brought, because we live now in an age of algorithms. Yeah, so I think it's crucial that we also communicate different values within this, and this is the history. This is the ethics also, like what does it mean to be an athlete? How was it in a different time, in a difficult time, when it was completely some other values, than are of those which are maybe today the youth are seeing, and it's about being seen, being important, because when it's a different for the generations who were born where there were no social media. Now the generations are who were born at that time, when this self-importance is differently perceived, because they immediately, as someone publishes its own image on Instagram and Facebook, it's a self-importance, but not based on some kind of skills. It's just a medium. Yeah, you can take a photo of yourself. So for this kind of generation, we have to think about how we communicate the knowledge that we have and the value, because sport is still one of the things next to the culture, together with the culture, and I think they're completely together aligned. And it's the sport has been used a lot also in a human rights organizations also for interconnecting different ethnicities together. So I think this storytelling that PJ and that you are now mentioning, the games and the storytelling, is a very, very crucial. But also like staying in line and not giving the fake content, but giving the content that is coming up from the researchers, from arts and humanities, from people who knows this. So it's not differently interpretative. It's something that is historically grounded. So it's about that, learning about these things. And yeah, thank you very much for your comment, and thank you for the comments of many people who were here in the chat session. Do we have also someone who wanna say something? I know it's been but we were a little bit late, 5 minutes or something. Yeah, Dasha? I'm sorry
Yeah,
for using your name, but yeah.
yeah, sure. So that was really interesting, and it's a very short question, and you might already explained it, but how do one institution or a museum collaborate so that a city or a country is presented in geocaching game?
In the geocaching to be present, you mean presented in
So
the game?
yeah, how do one join
You
geocaching?
can, for the game, it's very simple. I think it's a simple thing that you can download. Yeah, you
No,
can
but I actually meant collaborating as institution.
as
Yeah,
institution. Within collaborating as an institution to the project or itself. I
yeah.
think it's that maybe Laureen from the National Sport Museum can I think the best way would be, actually, from my point, what I can say, if you can join us at the conference in Zagreb in September. That's the first point. And then the other thing is, this is now the project that is ending, as Erasmus Plus. It's a result of 3 years, but I think there is always the possibility that we can start rethinking something new, I think, or also launching something else, or upgrading actually the existing. This is the possibility. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I hope I gave you. I know that maybe I didn't give you completely the answer that satisfies you, maybe, but this is just the state of now. But I think within this implementation of this, what we are presenting now, it's totally open, and we will add you in the next couple of days, as we will be also during these 2 months piloting the games officially that we need. Everything will be online, approachable, with the contacts that you can get more material, and it's also a good starter. Yeah. So to keep in touch, to get yeah. Thank you, Hannah, from Croatian Sport Museum. I'm super thankful to you and to colleagues from across for the Croatian part. I hope you are also happy that with the Croatians that we lobbied to be on the website, and that's an athlete that was an artist, and also an athlete that was very crucial for the Olympic, the athletic. Let's say championship, the athletic meeting that we have in Zagreb. Yeah, and of course I couldn't resist not to put Dražen Petrovic. That's like the soft spot of every Croatian. So yeah, okay. Maybe do you have any other questions of my colleague? Oh, Elena. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi from Athens Olympic Museum. It's thank you for this webinar, and I'm so impressed. The research behind this endeavor is amazing. Congratulations. My question has to do more about the methodology, the pedagogical methodology you follow to develop these games. As far as I've understood, you have an amazing database of information presented very, very elegantly as well. My question is about the attention span of the youth these days. When they face texts and questions or what they feel like complicated information, they just stop paying attention. And I was wondering how this works in the case of the two games.
Yeah, I totally thank you for this question because that was something that we were thinking from the beginning. As for sure for myself, I can say I work as a lot in my makerspace on a lot of workshops, and there is such a nuance difference between these. Like I mentioned earlier, 11 to 15 years. This age looks like similar, but it's not. They are very different, and it's a different when you have a suburbia kid, a center kid, a kid in a village, a kid on the coast. It's simply in the mountain. It's simply different, you know. And this was from the beginning. We were trying to set up like, let's sit in the shoes, you know, like, and imagining this, of course, different personas that you do and start, and especially when you work for such a, because this is the reason why we didn't insist for a lot of text, just on the medals, you know, that they get actually. And I have to say that our colleagues from the French Museum were actually, this was the first comment that they said when it was the game, like, we need something the content, you know, at the medal, so they get the story, so they learn something, because we didn't also, like, it's very difficult, like you mentioned, the attention span, how to make it. At the beginning it was like, wow, if we put someone from the history to interconnect them with someone from who they are more related, you know, like for the footballers especially, or I don't know, in other countries, in United States with basketball players, or in Africa with runners, you know, and with all of these athletic things, you know, how they can relate. It's more through popular culture, and we have to rethink of this. For this reason, we wanted this to be adaptable, you know, we wanted this to be possible localized, because from the first thing was about not overcrowded with a lot of text, and make preparations for teachers or museum people to make this guide how they will interconnect through discussion an hour before about this, an interesting storytelling that gets, it's like a small hook that they can, like a little fish, then go into this, you know, and that it gets interesting, you know. We were discussing also, like, thinking about design, you know, because now you can have all of these a lot of thinking about, is this enough cool or not for them. But then we were thinking, how we going to diversify these projects from other projects that are so super shiny. We cannot compete, and a teacher or a facilitator, or even you cannot compete with industrialized projects from the game that is in the box, that is looks like, we at one point at the beginning, we of course had this ambition idea, oh, it will be, oh, I will send to all of the partners, we will be doing this and that. But then at the end I was just like thinking, but I just was thinking about the small, yeah, about the small village somewhere where a local teacher wants to say, you know, give the role model to the student, to the pupils, like, hey, this is someone who also started from nothing, you know, try to building. I think these are the values, the messages that we also want. But this is going to be always very challenging. Yeah. Also, like learning them about the Paralympic athletes, learning about all the aspects of inclusivity. Yeah. This is something that I think it's interesting to see how, I think I'm very looking forward to see how different contexts, which is a museum, which is different if we put the sport museum or we put the local city museum, you know, the township museum, or a local school, or I don't know, an art organization that wants to use this also to working. This is kind of the data, let's say, roughly we wanna collect, in the couple of months to see if it functions or not, or maybe we need to simplify it. It's very different. I was also like a lot of thinking when we were playing in our lab with these unlock games. I was just thinking, wow, this is like only for super geeks, This is like not, I mean, you have kids who are super geeks, of course, but and what I didn't mention even now, there is a lot of talking now about the mental health, of the youth. This is something maybe this is upgradable in that sense, within this. That's kind of, but now I'm also like brainstorming more now. I have to stop myself. I hope I answered to you in a sense, but it was a lot of thinking, but still we need to try couple of times. But the thing is why we wanted to have this adaptable in this sense is that then we can see, aha, this works like in these cases, and in those cases, maybe it doesn't, but something else works. Yeah. This was the idea. Okay. Okay. So, so shall we do the wrap up, the closure? Yeah. So we don't, yeah. Okay. It was great seeing you, and I hope we will meet somewhere in some story, and please follow what we are doing or connect with us also. This is the great thing. I think it's also like the possibility of creating this network of institutions or individuals who are into this topic. So how we can through different areas work together, because we live in a very challenging geopolitical times, and I think the gamification and education and inclusivity are really the possibility how we actually can work with the youth, and how we can get them out of the screens, or if they want to be on the screen, to use to actually teach them about something, so that we don't have situations in the future like, oh, but we have been already through this. Yeah, I know in the history of civilizations we forget things, but museums and educators and facilitators, we are here, and teachers among all with everyday life, and social workers are into these areas where they tremendously work every day with kids when it's more or less challenging depending. And yeah, I think it's just a little motivational push for these areas. Yeah, I am good at motivational speaking, but now I am through all of my, I'm just joking. Yeah. Laureen, should we close, or what is the idea? Or if anyone else wants to tell something more, it's also okay. But we will for sure provide on the website all the contacts and everything, so we can stay in touch. So we won't be forgetting you, and we have the contacts within with your application, so you will know everything that follows, and we will happily share with you, connect with you, and yeah, let's make better the sporting and cultural and social future.
So if there are no
Thank you.
questions, I think we can end. So thank you very much for your attention and participation, for your questions and lovely messages in the chat. So the webinar recording will be uploaded to the website shortly, and you'll be able to view it there. And the link will be provided to you as well. So thank you very much again for your participation, and have a very, very pleasant evening.
Thank you very much, everyone. Good luck to everyone with the project.